Hey everybody, welcome to our new podcast. So if you don't know about us, we are Queens in Qinks and we run a dance, fitness and wellness studio in Stockport and that specialises with working with women. We have so many women walking through the door with so many different stories. So today we have made space for some of them women to come and join us and tell us some of them stories. So today we have with us the beautiful Nia and gorgeous Alex. So if you would like to introduce yourself, guys.
Thanks for that, T. So I'm Nia. I am 35. I'm from Manchester. I run a business doing many different things, but essentially I hold space for women, especially women that have been through abuse and violence. And I'm a holistic health and wellness coach as well, so I kind of tie everything in together, healing mind, body, spirit, soul.
Oh, so nice.
Love
that.
I'm Alex, I'm 33. I've been coming here for a good few years now. My work is more around corporate, so I'm in project management, which is a little bit boring. Wild ride.
And that's the beauty of Queens in Qinks, isn't it? Because so many women just have come from so many different walks of life. You have stay-at-home mums, you have ladies in corporate, creative people, all different types of women, and each with a story. So it was really nice to just like get everybody on the couch. So we're doing our first podcast this afternoon, which is with Alex and Nia, and then this evening we're going to do another one. So really, really happy that you have come and chose to share some stories and just raise awareness, really. And it's nice to be able to do this and show other women that you're not on your own, and there's lots of different things that we go through as women that other people are actually battling with as well. Yeah. So what we're talking about, there's so many things, isn't there? There's literally so many things. If anyone wants to kind of start off like maybe a personal story that might have where it's impacted them with the mental health and how they've maybe like got through it and things that have helped.
Anyone? Yeah, I don't mind.
Go on, Alex.
So what brought me here was actually my anxiety. Mm-hmm. So I've been growing up carefree, impulsive, didn't overthink anything. And then something happened in 2020, which I just hadn't planned in. So obviously it's COVID. We've already spoken about that a lot anyway.
Yeah.
But I had
horrible time.
Miscarriage, and I didn't even know what that was at the time. And I'd found out I was pregnant. We were going through the IVFs, like we just got approved for IVF, so we were going to start going through all of that. And I managed to get pregnant naturally.
Without.
Yeah. So absolutely really happy. And then 13 weeks in, realised that it wasn't going as well as we thought it was going to be going. And from that moment, I don't know what it was. It was like a switch. It just flipped, and all of a sudden then I was just the most anxious person. Like the things running through my head weren't things that I would ever be thinking about, and all of a sudden that was just, I was knee deep in it. So then I got pregnant again with Finley, who I have now, my little boy.
Gorgeous Finn.
Yeah, gorgeous Finn. And it just carried on running. It was just the same vein all the way through, and it was like just intrusive thoughts, things that I just couldn't get out of my head, like what if I crash this car, or what if I accidentally throw him down the stairs? And I was thinking, what if I actually do that?
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop them.
And it's like why you're thinking this, but eventually you just can't stop your mind from thinking it.
Yeah, and I was trying to Google everything, like what are all of the illnesses a child can get, and trying to control absolutely everything. So that's what brought me here essentially. It was because I just wanted to get out of my own headspace
and then come and just do something for yourself and not be thinking intrusive thoughts. Did dance help?
Yeah, absolutely. So I also had CBT, so cognitive behavioural therapy, with a therapist. She was really good. She taught me different techniques, how to control those thoughts, and I also started on antidepressants, which I needed. Definitely needed. It helped.
And how long was you like on antidepressants?
I'm still on them, to be fair. Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like they've obviously helped? Well, I think you're like so bubbly, and I didn't actually know that you'd had a miscarriage, so I'm sorry to hear that. But this is the thing, you meet people all the time I would never had any idea that he was on antidepressants, like, at all.
No.
Because you kind of, you're so bubbly and out there and don't come across as a sad person.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. I think people think that they're going to dull your personality, and as long as you're on the right one, it can help what you need it to help with.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're gonna be on a road to maybe coming off them? I started tapering off them, but then I noticed I did come off them briefly for a month, and I started noticing thoughts then coming. So I was like, you know what, it's not time. Just keep going with them for a little bit. But it was a long road to get to that point, to get to taking them. I had the therapy, and I thought I was just gonna be fixed after therapy, and it just didn't. So if you would like have any advice to kind of give to like anybody who might be watching, or anybody who might have gone through something similar?
Use your network, so use your support system. Try and lean on who you can. Try and find bits of parts of your life that you do enjoy, and try and do those a little bit more. Yeah. Writing stuff down, that really helps.
Journaling.
Therapy. Yeah, or even just writing a list of things that are going through your head at that time, and then my therapist actually said at that time, come back to them at the end of the day, and if they matter at the end of the day, then we can talk about them. But if they don't, just leave it on that paper.
Yeah, no, that's good. It is. So just kind of going a little bit deeper onto this, sorry, because I'm really interested now, because I've found out something I didn't know. But like, did they ever kind of put where did these things come from? Was it from the trauma of obviously having your miscarriage?
I think it was a lot to do with COVID, not
what was going on at the time.
Yeah. And I wouldn't place all the blame on that. Maybe I was always going to have some sort of underlying anxiety when something happened. But then having to go to these appointments, and it was so clinical. It was like one person in, and then sitting in a waiting room with maybe like 2 other people.
That was an awful
and they couldn't
time.
hug you. The nurse wanted to hug me at one point, but she couldn't. And Chris, my partner, couldn't come into any of the appointments with me. I was on my own for all of it.
And this is when you need people.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about COVID before, but it was like the death rate, the suicide rate, and everything during that time was like just extreme. Probably more
wild.
People who actually died of suicide than COVID. But that's just my opinion. That might be actual fact. But that was I'll just briefly say, because that was a time when because I suffer with anxiety. People who know me will know that. People who don't know me probably won't know that.
Know.
Yeah, because it's like you don't, like you do. You get on with your normal days. Like you don't see someone and go, oh, I'm really, really struggling today. You might do with people that you know, and you should do, because you should let people be aware of that and comfort you if they need to and support you if they need to. But I initially went on, and not antibiotics, my anxiety medication years ago when I came out of my first relationship with my children's dad. Not due to him or anything, just due to things that happened in our life, and I was just really scared and really panicky, and the doctor suggested that. Then I did okay. Then COVID. Yeah. COVID re-sparked that anxiety. Like I was just panicked constantly all the time, and I think
a lot of time to be in your own head. A lot of time.
Yeah.
I think they very much knew what they were doing with that. Honestly, I think the biggest pandemic is mental health.
Yeah.
It is. It actually is. We'll have another season for Nia to talk about that. But yeah, so that's anxiety for me has been a main factor of mental health and things that I've been through, and I'm still to this day. I come on and off medication as and when that I need to.
You notice when you start feeling, I'm getting a little bit more anxious now, and I need to start.
Well, it's triggers, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's for me. It's triggers. It's something that can trigger it, and it can be something so small, but then everything's on top of me. Then, like literally, there's days when I'm like, how am I even running a business? I can't do it. I'm literally I can't do it. I cannot do it, and that's. I just
get that all
it's
the time.
Crazy, and I hate it because when you feel good, you say to yourself, why do I feel like that? And next time that happens, I'm not going to let it bother me, and I'm not going to let myself feel that way. And it's just really difficult because it is it is your mental health, and you can try to manage it, and that's what I do now, and manage it the best way that I can, but you can't just go, that's not going to happen to me and stop it.
Yeah.
Because
I think it comes down to like absolute radical acceptance
Mm-hmm.
of this is where I'm at. I need time, I need space, I need to do these things that nourish my soul.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's indulging in things that people on the outside might look at and think, oh, well, you shouldn't really be doing that. But actually, if for that time,
You've always got to do what's right for you, haven't you?
Exactly.
People
and
know
deep down.
Yeah.
I tend to know that I'm always going to be all right. I'm a very resilient person. I've been through a lot, but I keep to myself because I kind of know. Like,
You're going to get through the end of it.
I'm going to get through it.
Yeah.
Like, this is hard right now, but I know that
That is
I'll
such
be all
a good
right.
mindset to have. It really is.
But it took a lot to get there. Like, I've done the CBT. I've done, I've been through the dark night of the soul. I've done a lot of healing work, physically, mentally, everything. Where was I going with this?
Maybe leading us swiftly onto kind of, your story and what kind of things you've been through, and if you've obviously want to share it on, if you have any advice for anyone.
Where I was going with it is, like, I think it comes down to what we're taught as children and how we're taught to manage our emotions and your values and your morals growing up and your self-belief. Self-belief, I think, massively comes into it, because when something does hit you in life later on down the line, how do you deal with it if you've not got that instilled in you? Somewhere along the line I kind of taught myself, because I struggled from a very young age, and what I started to notice is that the thoughts and opinions about myself were not mine. I was carrying somebody else's voice in my head. Of
what maybe had been put onto you from somebody, as someone had made you feel that way. Yeah,
absolutely. And not just family, outside people. It could take one thing that somebody says to you and it sticks with you for a long time. And you start believing it because you hear it over and over. It's like somebody repeatedly saying it to you, and it sticks with you. Then when something happens to you, that's the belief about yourself. I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I can't deal with this. So then you just break down. But then it is important to have that network, and where I've been like resilient and thought to myself, oh, no one cares, I'm not going to burden them with this, or no one's really got the answers, I've got the answers within me. I think last year I went through a very abusive relationship, and lost a child, and that forced me into leaning on other people. And when I did that, and I actually just listened and was like, when people were trying to hold space for me, rather than being like, nobody cares about me, these people care.
Yeah.
And
understanding
all I had to do was speak. And I found my voice. And in that, then people held me and got me through it.
Yeah.
Without that, I don't know,
And that's so important, though, isn't it, to actually speak and lean on the people who are there, and you don't want to feel like a burden, and you don't want, I think in another way as well, it's also kind of like accepting that something, you're not okay, and that's hard to do sometimes as well, especially if you're a strong woman, or you think, no, I'm fine, and you don't, for you to then go and say, actually, I'm not okay, can someone please hold me, can we just have 5 minutes, can we have a cup of tea, can you come and stay over at my house tonight? Like, to do that and reach out then is telling yourself that you're not okay, and that's sometimes really difficult to do,
because
as
as
well.
women, I feel like we're valued in society for being strong and resilient. And how much can this woman take? Because we're constantly, it's a big topic at the minute, like, we're not safe. And a lot of us, I don't know a single woman that hasn't been in some way abused. Which is shocking.
It really is.
And then we're praised for how much shit we can take.
Yeah. Can we look after the women, please? Can we take care of us? Absolutely. We do. We need nurturing. We are strong because we have to be. Like, we have to be, and society's built us that way over many years. We can do it all. But we don't want to do it all, but we can.
Like doing it on our own, and we're independent women, and no, like, we need each other. And I think we are coming full circle with it, and we are starting to lean on each other, but we also need the men doing the work as well. You know, we're supposed to be a village, and you see it, especially when you have children. There's no village around, and you're doing it on your own.
Yeah.
Even your partner. Well, some of us are not fortunate to have great partners, and they leave us on our own.
Yeah.
And then we're told we've got postnatal depression. Well, obviously, like, we're dealing with all these hormones, and you know, our body's just trying to re-regulate, and we're left to do it by ourselves. You don't really get support from the hospital. They just want in and out, vaccinate this and that, and you know, they don't really care about your mental health.
I got was I saying to you about when I had Sim before? I was saying to you, slightly off topic. I was saying when I had Simeon, I had him like really quickly. It was 9.5 centimeters when I got to the hospital. And it was really traumatizing because it just came so quick. I didn't have any pain relief or anything. So when I had him, then they wanted me to go afterwards. They was like, okay, off you pop. See you later. And I didn't want to. I was like, no, I feel like I need to just have like at least a night in the hospital just to kind of like collect myself. So I insisted that I stayed for the night, but they were literally like wanted me to just off when.
It's just a business. It's just a business to them. That I, honestly, if I was to have another child, I'd be having a doula. I'd be having a baby at home in my own space. I watched my sister do it. Her first baby, 5-hour labour.
Which is she having at home? I will love that.
Honestly, no pain relief, nothing. She was turned as well, but her body naturally turned her. So in the hospital, they would have panicked her about that, like they did me. And I was in labour for nearly 48 hours. Wow. It was crazy, and it was just all because they just want to do everything quick, and they don't want you to take control as a woman. We're told outside of hospital. Yeah,
and it's just making sure, looking after everyone's welfare as well. Yeah. Okay, look after your physical health because you're a hospital, but look after your mental and your health and your welfare as well. Yeah. That should be a massive factor and be taken into consideration, especially when you're having children and your hormones are at like a million.
Yeah, like, well, exactly. But they just want you to rush back into work. Everything's like, you know, the importance is on a 9 to 5, but actually if we weren't living like that, then we'd have time and space for each other, and we'd be able to build villages, and we'd be able to support each other going through that. I just feel like there's a massive disconnection
to support women going back to work full time, because how do you get childcare? How do you sort out childcare before and after?
And you've got other people raising your children, and then it's another cycle, because where are they learning how to deal with emotions and stuff, because they're not teaching that in school.
And you need your mum for that. Like, your children do need the mums, and it's really difficult that we've got to go back to work so soon afterwards. As we know, we've all not obviously, because it shouldn't be so obvious, but like you just said, there's so many women who have been through some form of abuse. You know, there's so many people, sorry to focus purely on women, like I have a tendency to do that, but that's who that's who I advocate for. But people who have suffered so many different, like we're talking about anxiety, depression, but there's so many different other mental health, what's the right word? Mental health disorders. I was going to conditions, disorders. I was going to say issues, but then I was like that.
I think it's really important as well to acknowledge that that it's really normal. It's very normal, and to have light, you have to have the dark. I look at life like a pendulum swing. So as far back as you go with the darkness and the struggles, the opposite side that you come out on, it swings right back out, and that happiness and that level of love, and it's just on the other side, and it's kind of like you just have to wade through it. That is a really good point, and a good what's the word I'm looking for? Analogy. That was the word I was looking for, and a good analogy. And I think it's really important to actually like kind of like really express as well what you just said with. It's kind of part of life. Like, people aren't going to go through life. They'll be very lucky if they did, but I doubt it, without experiencing some form of mental health issue, condition, whatever the correct wording is for it. Because we are going to have them dark times. We are going to have adversity that's going to push us into maybe a form of depression, maybe a form of anxiety, where we're going to need help and support, and it's okay. So I think if we're going to
put anything out today and for people to take away from this is knowing that and not actually just thinking there's something wrong with you or you're really, really struggling because you've got a little bit of anxiety, because you've got a little bit of depression. No, it's normal. Just make sure you get the support so it doesn't actually go any worse, because that is the thing as well. You have to be careful because they can take you on a downward spiral. And, you know, you may have, I know people, I'm sure you may know people where it's gone so far that they've ended up taking their life, which is like absolutely, it's just devastating. It's such a devastating thing. But it's understanding that it can happen and we can be okay. And also understanding that you still do need to get help and not let it spiral and go too far.
I think it's important to have your vices and know what nourishes you as well and what makes you feel good. And like, you know, for me, gym was a big thing this past year, in the past few months especially, like trying to get my confidence back after being knocked through the floor was dance. You know, so like people might look at the dance that we do and like it's sexy and it's this and it's that, but actually like what it does internally for women is incredible.
Yeah, that was what I was going to actually say. Perfectly onto the next bit, which my phone's playing up so now I can't see it. Dancing through darkness. Dancing through darkness. So many ladies have come to the studio and they've come for a reason. Usually it's not a great reason. Usually they're not in a good place. Now, we do get people obviously who come because they love to dance and they just want to try something new, or they've used to dance when they were years ago, and that's beautiful as well. And I love that, and we're here for it. But it really touches you when you know that women have come through the door because they've not been the best self, and then after, like you just said, within weeks, within months, are feeling better. Like they're building that self-esteem back. They're building that confidence back. I'm spitting on the mic. And even if it is through sexy dancing, like obviously we offer more than just sexy dancing, but we do. That I think as a woman to really get in touch with your femininity, embrace it and connect with your body, it gives you a feeling like no other. Like, I think it really makes you feel good. Like, you feel like I'm a woman and I can be sexy and I can feel good. And that is the turnaround point from when you're might be in a bad place from a man, might be just in a bad place because life's throwing all kinds of shit at you. And you just want to build that confidence, and you can put a heel on and you can go, I'm the shit. And I felt like the shit. And have other women around you. Massive part of the studio as well is just having other women there to support you and just being like, and encouragement, like, yeah, go on, girl. And that does so much for your mental, like so much, because you can walk out and be like, I actually felt good. That girl, that woman made me feel amazing. I feel like I've met a new friend. Be like making friends as well is like so important. I'm going to pass this on to you because we're going to go down dancing through the darkness. And you have briefly touched on how dance helped you, but if you can elaborate like a little bit more, and you've made like some great friends as well here.
Absolutely. It was purely the anxiety, and I knew I needed to get out and do something else. And the old me was impulsive. She'd just go out and do it if I wanted to do it. And this was one of those moments. And I thought, I need to go and do that. I've had that thought. I need to just go. It was. And like, if I could look back at the videos from when I first joined to now, I don't even think I'd look at myself in the mirror. And I remember you saying to me, just look at yourself. And it's like, I can't, because I don't want to see myself. So it's
the improvement.
Massively. The confidence, everything.
Look at the video. Like, this will be a little part where we'll go, boom, and put a sick picture of Alex. Alex came on our content shoot. And it's quite a scary thing to do, like to not only just jump on a plane with a load of people who you don't really know that well and spend a week with them, but to get in front of the camera and pose and feel confident and comfortable. And some of the pictures that you've done, like, beautiful, gorgeous.
Thank you. No, it's hugely helpful and to connect with how I was then, and that's who I was, and I feel like that's been lost for a long time. I've said that to you before. But yeah, and getting that back, definitely.
It's back. It's
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, well, I think with like doing things like that, like you say with the photo shoots and stuff, like even for myself when I started modeling and stuff, I had no confidence and like I didn't believe that I could do it, and I felt shy in front of the camera and stuff. But as I've learned, and then I've then done it for other women, it's, you see how much it actually does for your confidence, and you think that people from the outside might look at it and think, oh, it's very shallow, but actually like internally, like it does, just when you see yourself and you think, actually, like that, like, oh, I don't look what I thought I looked like, you know. And doing the dancing and like getting the moves, just like that alone, like, oh, I can actually move my body, like
that sense of achievement when you can do it. It is
and then being able to help other women through that process as well, where you see that they're resisting at the start. And like I always say, the things you resist are the things that you need the most. Like,
so you need to do more videos then.
That's
coming. I was really proud of you today. Putting up with them and just like cracking on with them. You did great. But I think taking you out of Macclesfield, sometimes that actually like works because you're comfortable in Macclesfield now. You know you've still got a bit to go in terms of like learning and feeling really confident in yourself, but just to kind of take you out of that space where you used to, you just stepped up today.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
I don't know none of these women that I've just walked in the room with. And you all look good, so I can't just walk in here and you think, who's this girl? Like, she's shit. Like,
you really just cracked on with it, and it is nice, and that's why we've got to get uncomfortable sometimes. We really do, don't we? We've got to get out of our comfort zone sometimes, and because it will benefit us in the end.
And that's exactly like, is the parody of the right word, but like of depression and anxiety and stuff, it's uncomfortable, but it's okay to be uncomfortable because on the other side of that uncomfort is comfort and happiness and the you know, the absolute opposite. So like it's a normal part of life, and it's just accepting that's where you're at and being at peace with it. And you know, if you have to sit with yourself, you'll be all right. You know.
We've obviously give like little bits of advice as we've gone. But is there anything else anyone would like to say to anybody? I'm just gonna say, come Queens in Qinks, like, because you know what? Honestly, we change lives here. We change lives over here. Like you do. It does make you feel better. It might not be. Might not be for you. It might be that you want to do something else, like what we talked about earlier, and find something that really resonates with you. It might be meditation, it might be yoga, it might be journaling, it might be going for a walk, doing something a little bit more physical like the gym. And like there's so many different things we can do, and it's like just finding that thing that makes you feel good. As long as you find that thing that makes you feel good, and do step out your comfort zone, because joy at the other end of comfort, at the other end of uncomfortable is joy, is happiness, is all them things. But just come to Queens in Qinks though as well.
Yeah, no, exactly the same. Literally, I've got no words left because I think you've said everything. I'd just say come try it out. I think at one point I wrote a review on Google for you, and it was like, just come and do it. Just come and try it out. And even if you don't like it, you can find something that you enjoy. There is something that you can then go on and do.
Yeah. I think it does as well, which I've noticed with women who've been here before. Because you're building your confidence, like doing dancing and doing something that is just making you feel good, your confidence is being built. So then you are able to then go and do other things that you wanted to do. Like you might have that business idea that you've been working on, or thinking about, not even working on. You can't even get to the working part because you've not got the confidence. And you come and ladies come here and they feel good, and then they're off and they're doing other things, and because they feel elevated and empowered to go and do it. So it might be that you only come here for a short time, but as long as I feel like any ladies who's come here, if they've had a positive impact from coming, like then I'm just so happy, and that's exactly what we're here for and what we want to do. So
Thanks.
Thank you.
Advice,
Yeah, I feel like you've got some good advice.
I think it's important to focus on all aspects of life as well. So if you can do something what gets you back in touch with nature, if that's going for a walk, if it's just sitting on the grass outside, you know, just soaking up the sun. Then your health, so physical health, going to the gym, you dance,
Release endorphins.
your diet plays a
yeah.
massive part. If you're eating shit, you're going to feel like shit. So start just making little changes to your diet, making sure you're hydrated.
It's all the little things I think that you forget though when you're in such a dark place.
You do, yeah. But
Day-to-day
take the
life.
time, like if you're in a dark place, go on your phone, watch podcasts, read, like learn about yourself as well. That's so important. Like learn where you came from, learn your triggers, learn about your parents' history, like your ancestral history. I think it really helps to like dive deep. And if you are going through it and you can't leave your bed, just at least do that. Just learn things about yourself, because then you'll be like, oh, okay, this is why I do this and this is why I feel this way. And then it can start to help you unravel. And then, step out your comfort zone. Like there's growth outside of your comfort zone. So, and use your network, not just for actual business, which is great, because when you're networking and you're thriving through your business, it helps with your confidence, but vice versa as well. So lean on each other, talk, speak out. Like the first thing I did last year was start telling people I'm being abused, rather than, I'm like making excuses for that person and this and that. Like the first time I said it, it was like, right, well, I can't go back on that now. And that's what got me out. Yeah. The radical acceptance. Yeah. And it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much, ladies. You can keep all of that one for a minute.
I'm taking it home. Tell Chris what to do.
No, honestly, thank you. Ladies, it is a bit nerve-wracking, kind of like getting on and speaking, and also just on things that are so kind of personal to you. Yeah. So I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, so thank you, everybody, for tuning in and having a little watch. And if anybody is struggling at all and wants to reach out or needs some support, there'll be some numbers on the screen now. So please make sure that you get any help that you need. Thank you, my ladies. Thank you, everybody. Qinks in Conversation, over and out.